So, you want to race with the National Hot Rod Association's Pro Modified class? No problem. All it takes is a lot of money, some skill behind the wheel, and the ability to deal with this guy.
I'm going to say right now, in front of God and everybody, I am a badass.
Within the NHRA is a class of car that defies convention. Door slammers with nitrous, turbos, blowers. These are the Mavericks. This is Pro Mod. Welcome everybody to Baytown, Texas, the home of Houston Raceway Park for the NHRA's Pro Modified Eliminator category presented by J&A Service. It's one of the most diverse divisions in all of drag racing, as explained by Pro Mod driver Don Walsh.
You have fans that love nitrous cars, you have fans that love supercharged cars, turbocharged cars, and then you still have your brand loyal, your Ford, your Chrysler, your GM, and then just plain body style.
And the very first pair in competition will be two machines which utilize nitrous oxide injection, including that outrageous piece of equipment. It's a 2014 Chevy Corvette created by engineer Harold Martin. He's alongside Missouri driver Ron Minix in the Dave's RV Camaro, and there's a problem on the starting line. The win goes to the Missourian.
The nitrous car is faring very well this weekend. The weather conditions have been a little bit crazy, but you guys are working at it.
Yes, we are. We're trying. The turbo cars are right behind us, though.
Indeed, there are two of them, and it's a Ford versus Chevrolet battle, including the well-known Jegs.com yellow Corvette of the one or only Troy Coughlin. He's against Kevin Fiskus with a brand new twin turbocharged Mustang using Ford power. A tremendous side-by-side drag race, and what an upset! Incredibly, Fiskus beats the favored Troy Coughlin. The replay shows a win of 20 thousandths of a second.
Knew we had a low 90 tune-up in it, so I thought we'd run him down half track. We were beside him, and I knew it was over. And it was close. Wind light came on. I hated taking down a turbo brother, but it's all good.
Next up, Mike Castellana and his equally legendary crew chief, Shannon Jenkins.
We tested it rocket down, but it's typical new car stuff. It ran decent, but we're not where we want to be yet.
You're looking at actual $100 bills embedded in the paint scheme of the incredible Mike Knowles-driven Colorado Camaro that will be alongside Castellana and his Speed Tech Nitrous Solutions Camaro. Almost identical reaction times, but now it becomes a horsepower battle, and the win goes to Mike Castellana. Brian Lones is on the top end waiting for him.
We had 27 cars show up this weekend. It was a battle even to just show up and to get in the field. You go 593, 242, you're into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, that's what counts, you know, going rounds right now. We didn't qualify that great, but, you know, we got to just go one round at a time and build up the points, and that's what we're here for.
Thank you, Brian Lones. The next race will include a pair of 2014 Chevy Camaros, one supercharged and one nitrous oxide injected. But with Mike Janis driving the blown car, does he really care who he's racing?
I mean, I don't even know who I'm racing half the time. It's just total concentration on what I'm doing. I guess the hardest part is once you let go, make sure you keep the car in the groove.
Well, let's see if he can do just that, as Stevenson's Chicago-based nitrous car, the orange Camaro in the far lane, has been tough. It's a great drag race all the way to the finish line, but it's Mike Janis, the New Yorker, takes a fantastic win.
Well, Mike, you said you weren't sure. Stevenson left on you, but you tracked him down. You're on a march out there, 590, 242.
Yeah, I got a little bit loose about 100 feet out, you know, so I moved around. I wasn't sure where he was, and I surely wasn't looking over, just trying to drive my own race. Glad we did it.
We're halfway through the first round already. Mike Castellana, Kevin Fiskus, Mike Janis, and Ron Minix have advanced.
This coverage of the NHRA Pro Mod Series presented by J&A Services is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in race fasteners. And by J&A Wellfield Services, proud sponsors of the Why Not Race team. In the field or on the track, count on J&A teams for proven performance. And by Precision Turbo and Engine, the winning edge in boosted performance. And by Aeromotive, serious fuel systems.
Welcome back to NHRA Pro Modified Eliminator action presented by JNA Service. As we continue round number 1 of eliminations, we've got a battle of 2 of the best in the business. In the far lane, Vaughn Smith and crew chief Howard Boone. Near lane, it's this man, Danny Rowe, and his crew chief Jimmy Rector, who had problems in qualifying.
We just had some glitches that started in the computer with the engine RPM dancing around. The car was performing, but I knew it was going to bite us, and we changed a lot of stuff. Then we get back, it didn't shift third round of qualifying. We come back and changed a lot of other stuff, and thankfully it didn't crank, and we found the problem, one of the shut-off arms that broke in the back of the car, so we was operating on one battery, low voltage. But I think we got all the gremlins fixed.
I was very fortunate that Jimmy Rector had been tuning a lot of really fast cars, but at that time wasn't really happy in the position that he was in. And so I flew down to meet him at a racetrack down in Jackson. We sat on the guardrail and we talked about, what we're both looking for out of a program. And probably within 20 minutes or 30 minutes, we realized it was a great fit. And we went literally from there to walking across the pits and found a car that we liked. And we actually purchased a car right at the same spot. And it's been a great team. Jimmy Rector is an amazing man.
At the end of the last year, I just started to develop a relationship with Danny Rowe and his team and Jimmy Rector, and the question came up about, possibly driving the second car, and initially I thought they were joking.
No, there are now 2 Agave Underground team cars, but bear in mind, both these team crew chiefs have won world championships in the alcohol funny car division in the past. Identical reaction times, and this is a door-to-door drag race. Unbelievable! Danny Rowe scores the win by 23 thousandths of a second.
Identical reaction time to Smith. Jimmy Rowe horsepower and a lot of steering out there.
Oh my God, that's a great race. That's a fantastic team. We need to put them on the trailer. They're a pain in the butt all year. Jimmy Rector did a fantastic job with the race car, and it was getting a little bit greasy out there. The car was moving around a little bit, but we did what we had to do. We're going into the next round, so I'm excited.
Well, here is the aforementioned Steve Matusik in the second of the Agave Underground team cars. Steve just switched from a turbocharged entry to a supercharged machine this year.
Actually, the second pass I've ever made in the car using the handbrake. So I'm trying to get used to the car and trying to get my sequence down. And for us to make a good lap and be successful, I was pretty excited.
Well, it's just as exciting for Pete Farber and the CRC Brake Clean sponsored 1970 Dodge Daytona Charger. And we've got another great side-by-side drag race. What a battle! Steve Matusik wins by 17 thousandths of a second. The replay shows it was brutally close.
That was badass. Danny Rowe Racing. All right.
Next up is a David versus Goliath match. And here's Goliath, the reigning world champion, the IDG Camaro driven by Ricky Smith. And it's got a brand new trick Ricky designed to keep the car cool.
This is the way we cool the engine down before we have to run. Sometimes we're trying to make runs, especially like here every hour, and you can only get the motor cooled down much under 100 or 90 degrees. So this will take it down to 50 or 60 if we want it there, so it'll take it down pretty quick.
And the world champ will be up against a rookie racer in the near lane. It's Stephen Whiteley in the JNA Service Camaro, the Why Not Racing team that has dominated top alcohol competition for the last several seasons. But Ricky Smith drives away with the quickest run of the round at 5.86 seconds. That's only 200ths of a second slower than that man. The #1 qualifier in the blue Camaro, coal mining engineer Jim Larita, who clocked 5.84 seconds in qualifying. He's up against Don Walsh in Harry Hruska's twin turbocharged Chevy Camaro. The #1 qualifier is out first, but here comes the turbo car and another incredibly close finish. Only 17 thousandths of a second, but a huge upset for the #16 qualifier, Don Walsh.
You know what? This class is so competitive that we showed what can happen. That number 16 qualifier really can take out #1. We just went up there and did our thing, set the car up the way that we've been setting it up, moving forward the best that we can without trying to shoot our foot, and we were able to get it done.
So Steve Matusik, Don Walsh, Ricky Smith, and Danny Rowe fill out elimination round #2, which will begin in just a minute. Stay with us for more NHRA Pro Mod action. Welcome back back to Baytown, Texas and Houston Raceway Park for the 27th annual O'Reilly NHRA Spring Nationals. This is Pro Modified Eliminator presented by J&A Service. It's turbocharged Mustang Kevin Fiskus against Mike Castellana's nitrous oxide injected Chevy Camaro. And Mike Castellana knows exactly the stakes of this match.
We got a turbo car next round. I mean, they're pretty fast on the big end, but I got Shannon Jenkins over here tuning the motor up, so we should be in good shape.
That's a big matchup for points. I mean, he's the points leader, so I can help out the whole rest of the Pro Mod guys by taking him out. So nitrous guys, so he's going to be tough. I mean, they got a little edge on us, I think, but we're going to try to take him out.
Fiskus and his partner Josh Klugger with their twin-turbo Ford Mustang are newcomers to this class. Castellana has been in the division now for over 25 years. A little bit of a starting line burn down here. Neither driver willing to stage first, but Castellana knows how to play that game as well. Even the Speed Tech Nitrous crew members are just kind of chuckling. Fiskus is beginning to feel the pressure, but it is Castellana staging first. Let's see if that has any play in the outcome of this event. Fiskus with a slight hole shot, but he gets a little loose, and count this one for the New Yorker again.
Took a little while to stage, just getting comfortable in a new car up there. What was the deal?
Well, I guess we were just waiting to see who's going to stage first. You know, there's no rule on who's got to go in, so we were just hanging out there for a while. I saw my temperature was getting a little hot, so I said, I better go in.
Well, here's another one for the turbo fans. It's the Galant Motorsports Precision Turbo Camaro, being driven by Don Walsh, a three-time NHRA Pro 5.0 World Champion. And here's his opponent, Steve Matusik.
You know, I'm pretty familiar with the turbo cars, obviously. You know, Donnie Walsh, a great guy. Harry's one of my best friends in the industry and in racing. But on race day, you know, you don't have any friends. So I'm looking forward to running them. I know all their tricks. There's nothing they can do that I haven't seen. So I'm really looking forward to running a turbo car instead of being in one.
Mr. Dusik knows what a turbo is going to do to him on the other end. And there's no worse feeling than being in a blower car when a turbo car is beside you at 800 feet.
We won't be beside him at 1,000 feet, guaranteed.
Well, we'll see if that guarantee holds. Turbocharged Camaro in the near lane, supercharged entry on the far side. And already the Agave Underground machine is driving away. You can bet Mike Ivey, the president of Agave Underground Tequila, is cheering as hard as anybody else. What a victory for the #2 team car.
Donnie's a clean racer. I mean, they're good guys. I don't play games on the starting line like some people. I just rolled in, got set, got ready to go, and did my thing.
Next up, Ron Minix out of Springfield, Missouri in the far lane in the Dave Pierce RV Sales Camaro, but he's up against what many people consider the unflappable Mike Janis.
I don't play no games on the line. I do my own thing. If someone wants to mess with me, I'm ready for them. It doesn't affect me. Just kind of, I guess, goes with age, you know.
Well, no question, Mike Janis has to prepare himself because this beautiful purple machine tuned by Jeff Pierce has already clocked a career best elapsed time during this event. The hole shot goes to Minix, but here comes Janis and barely secures the victory to advance to the semifinal round. And interestingly, I only see one parachute fully deployed on Ron Minix's Camaro, and he's trying to stop it from going off the end, and it's in the sand trap. The pea gravel pit that indeed slows errant race cars in situations just like this. What a tough break. There you see the NHRA Safety Safari digging him out.
589, 245.
Yeah,
First
good.
car to go in the 80s this round.
Yeah, good. It was pretty loose there. I was holding on for, set about 300 feet. It was holding on. It wasn't, it was moving around a lot. And then the parachutes was another issue.
Well, meanwhile, it should be interesting to hear what Ron Minix has to say about his effort with Brian Loans.
Ron Minix just extracted the Camaro from the sand trap. Talk us through what happened.
Well, we threw the chutes, crossed the finish line. It felt like only one open, so I started getting on the brakes, reached up and re-hit it again to deploy the second chute in case it didn't fall out, and just got on the brakes as easy as I could. It started to hop, so you get back off the brakes, ease back on, ran out of real estate, went in the rocks.
World champion Ricky Smith in the IDG Camaro takes on Danny Rowe, and Rowe's crew chief Jimmy Rector knows this could be a war.
You know, we got a nitrous car that's 200-pound lighter here this pass, and all of a sudden they can run 248. So they've cried and cried, and they got where they want now. So we got to go see if we can outrun them.
Ricky Smith is a pain in once again, but you know, he's a great racer, and we're going to go out there and do what we have to do. We just make sure that nobody's playing head games, and go out there and race for like we need to race. That's what we're going to do in the next round.
I ain't gonna tell you what I'm gonna do.
That's why they call him Tricky Ricky. The IDG Camaro, it looks like there is a problem with the IDG Camaro. They're pushing Ricky Smith back. The car's not even running anymore. It's gonna be a single run, I think, for Danny Rowe. And a tire shaking shut-off run at that. Ricky Smith is mad, and not just at himself. He's shouting a few opinions at Rowe's crew.
This thing kind of done at the first round of qualifying year, rolled out there after the burnout went dead. Usually a fuel injection car won't do that. Even after the shutdown on the other end, you got to cut them off. They done it then, and they done it again a while ago, and I couldn't get it cranked. They were pushing it back, and it fired up by the time I got to the Christmas tree.
Who would have believed it for the world champion? Well, we're in the semifinal round. It's 3 supercharged cars and Mike Castellana's low nitrous oxide entry. Stay with us. More Pro Modified action when we return.
This edition of the NHRA Pro Mod Series, presented by J&A Services, is being brought to you by CRC, Chemical Solutions to keep you moving. And by Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. And by Bruce High Performance Transporters, leading the industry since 1981. And by J&A Well Field Services, proud sponsor of the Why Not Race team. In the field or on the track, count on J&A teams for proven performance.
The semifinals are about to begin with Danny Rowe and the Agave Underground Camaro, and his crew chief Jimmy Rector has a plan.
First increment I take is around a quarter of a second, and then you look at a half. I mean, you're racing every increment. You just basically want to see if the clutch is tight enough and you got enough engine RPM, so pretty much stuff like that. One car was good and one car was a little fast, but we got to pick one up a little bit and slow one down a little bit.
Bear in mind, there are 2 Agave Underground cars still in this semifinal, but here's Mike Castellana in the Speed Tech Nitrous Camaro, who points out that their plan's a little simpler.
Well, both of us are going to do our part. I'm going to leave, and he's going to put us in the 80s.
The plan. We always leave a little bit on the table.
Mike Ivey of Agave Underground Tequila watches as Danny Rowe stages up against Castellana here in the semifinal round. A huge hole shot for the nitrous car. Does Danny Rowe have enough to get around Mike Castellana? No! Castellana wins on a massive hole shot, 595 to a losing 592. It was 13 thousandths bet the finish line.
Mike, we talked in the pits and we asked both Shannon and yourself whose job it was going to be to get that round win. You both did it. You left well and the car really hauled.
Yeah, I mean, it did rattle a little bit on a gear change, but I didn't see Danny, and we just stayed with it all the way and got the win line, you know.
Now it's the other Agave Underground Tequila car, Steve Matusik taking on Mike Janis and his supercharged Camaro. But believe me, Janis has been at this game a lot longer than that man, Steve Matusik.
All 4 of us that are left are all within a couple hundred, so it's basically a driver's tuner race. I'm going to have my hands full with Steve.
He better keep bringing his A game because Jimmy still has some tricks up his sleeve.
Nothing against Steve Matusik, but remember that Mike Janis won last year's NHRA U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis. And indeed, Matusik is oh no, Matusik leaves the starting line before the Christmas tree is even activated. Janis shuts the engine down at 1,000 feet. He knew he could save the parts. Matusik couldn't hold the car on the starting line.
All right, Mike. You saw Matusik red light, you shut it off early, now you might be questioning that decision.
Yeah, I knew he left way early, you know, and I was on a good run, and I'm like, okay, don't do nothing stupid, just get out of it. And then pulling around here, I think I really just messed up by not taking it all the way down and getting lane choice, because it was on a good pass.
You and Castellana have been at this thing a long time, and you've raced each other a bunch. You're like 2 New York guys in a final in Texas. Who could have written that?
Oh, yeah, the Buffalo guys are definitely going to take this one, though.
It will be the supercharged car from Buffalo against the nitrous machine from Long Island in the final round.
Pro Mod 101 is brought to you by Precision Turbo and Engine. Harry, a lot of people are wondering, why don't you have a big hood scoop like Pro Stocks or some of the other Pro mods?
Well, this is a twin turbocharged car, Ted, and we don't need a hood scoop. We bring the air in either from the front of the car or up on top of the hood.
So you have two openings right here, look very aerodynamic. Is that actually the turbos right there?
Yes, the turbos, and they're pulling a lot of air right through and funneling down into to make a lot of horsepower. And the other cool thing is that the driver can see better because he doesn't have a big hood scoop interfering.
Yeah, and the hood scoop can actually almost act like a parachute, wind resistance.
Oh yeah, it's huge, and that's why these cars are mile an hour so much better than a blower car or a nitrous car, because they don't have all that resistance. Nice streamlined car.
It's time for the final round. One of the great points of Mike Castellana is that he's had 3 perfect reaction times in his career. But the driver in the other lane, Mike Janis, had some problems before this championship final.
We came back, you know, we started looking at the boost numbers, and the boost was way down, like 5 or 8 pounds. The front half numbers were way slower than what they should have been that run, so we knew there was something going on, so we had a spare one, so we're all set.
We do our own supercharger mods, our whole R&D program, Kevin Peters and Mike Jr. at the shop. We totally build the supercharger from scratch. All our testing is done in-house on our own dyno, and we've got a really good program going.
Bear in mind, Mike Janis started this 2014 season without a major sponsorship. He's here on his own dime. Mike Castellana still has Speed Tech Nitrous Solutions and his own Western Beef supermarkets paying most of the bills. But here we are in the final round, blown versus nitrous oxide injection. Oh, Castellana throws it away on a 9,000th of a second red light, and he even runs quicker. Sideways in the shutdown area, but it doesn't matter now. There's young Mike Janis Jr. celebrating with the Buffalo crew.
What a day. You've won it in a couple different ways. It was kind of an ugly run, of course, you got around, and then with Mike there, he went red, but you still went down 592. Did it? Very solid run, 244.
Yeah, it was nice and solid, nice smooth, and you know, that's all we backed it down just a little bit, believe it or not, when we seen the weather coming in. I guess it was a good move. I can't believe it.
The 2013 U.S. Nationals winner gets his first win of 2014. But Mike Castellana is now the point leader in the battle for the World Championship. But still, the Buffalo, New York team, without major sponsorship, has made a huge statement here in front of the massive crowd at Houston Raceway Park in Baytown, Texas. That's it from the 27th Annual O'Reilly NHRA Spring Nationals presented by Superstart Batteries.